Hey, welcome back to my channel. I thought that I would use this opportunity to do a live stream and to just have a chill sketchbook session. You know that I absolutely love doing these. If you're watching, then please feel free to say hi, as I can see the chat as well. But yeah, so I have been feeling very nostalgic of the holidays that I've gone to recently, and I was looking through some of my pictures and thought that this would be a good opportunity to practice some landscapes. I also asked the community on my Kofi what they would like me to create, and they suggested landscapes. Hence, here we are. This is kind of a landscape, a bit of a seascape, but let me show you the reference so that you know what I'm going to be doing. Can you see it? This. So this is a stunning picture that I've taken in Malta. And to be perfectly honest, I can't 100% remember if it was me who took it or my sister who took it. But essentially, I have this picture and I thought that would make a wonderful reference to just practice painting. In terms of what I'm going to be using, let me make sure you can see me. I am going to be using gouache. So this is the gouache palette that you may know I love and I've done a review about. And if you don't know about it, I will link it down below. But it's essentially a stay wet palette that has my Winsor & Newton designer gouache in it as well. And I used this block of Clairefontaine paper just to practice and do a thumbnail for like the first time ever. Just because I wanted to practice and I thought that it would help. Oh, sorry, I left the windows open because we currently have a heat wave, so it's absolutely scorching. But if you can hear that noise, then let me know. Thank you so much for joining, Miss Ebony. Let me know if you can hear it. Oh, you're working. So yeah, so I did this thumbnail of that picture that I showed you, and I am going to be using this Clairefontaine paper to just mess around with the colors rather than actually do the piece on here, because I want to use this, which is the Paul Rubens hot press watercolor block, to practice. For my brushes, I'm going to be using these De La Rowney graduate brushes. This is the round in size 10, and this is more of like a filbert brush that they call an oval wash in size 3/4. I have some water, I have some palette paper, I have some tissue to dab off any excess water, a handy spray bottle to keep my gouache moist, and some water, and you. So let's see, I'm gonna place this here, just putting everything in a way that makes sense. Hey, Miss Ebony. Hey, Arava. Thank you so much for joining. Hey, Colleen. Oh, I'm so glad that you've got your gouache. I honestly think you're really going to enjoy it. Yeah, no, it is small, but it actually packs quite a lot of gouache. So I've only refilled some of the colors that I have in here once, but apart from that, they've just really lasted a nice and long time. In terms of like my thought process, just as to why I did the thumbnail, I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional about why I paint things the way that I paint them, if that makes sense. And part of that, I think, is because since starting the Kofi community, which I will also link down below, and thank you to everyone who's joined already, I love you. But since creating it, I've kind of been a bit more mindful about being more intentional with my art and what I'm practicing and what I'm learning. And as a result, I feel like I should start actually thinking through some of my thought processes. And I've never tried a thumbnail. So here it is, first one ever. Hey, Helen. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for painting, Arava. Oh, Helen, that's so sweet. We clearly miss each other. I was meaning to live stream all today, but some drilling started, so I wasn't able to. Let me get the I'm going to be popping the reference up and down just because I can't have. Can I have us both at the same time? Oh yeah, apparently I can. I can have us both at the same time. So, as I say, this is a picture or a painting from Malta, which I recently came back from. And what I'm going to do is start off with the sky first. So I'm picking up the white, and then the sky looks baby blue to me. So pick up a dash, tiny, tiny, tiny bit of blue. You see? You can barely see it. And get some more. And some more. I'm using the big brush because first I just want to get the shapes down. And because we're using gouache, I can show you. So I'm just going to use this so that if you are also painting along, you can roughly see the shapes that I have created. And because we're going to be using gouache, we're going to be covering all this. So although it feels a bit disconcerting, like drawing with biro on watercolor paper that you're going to paint on, if you're using gouache, it will be okay. If you're using watercolor and this is the effect that you're going for, it will be okay. If you're using watercolor and you don't want it to show, probably don't do this. How is everyone? How are your weeks going? Oh, it is absolutely scorching. Oh, hi, Sandra. Welcome. As always, if anyone has any questions about Kofi, please feel free to ask. I'm going to move this to the side. So just a super light wash first. Picking up some more white. Adding a little bit more blue, just because I want the top a little bit darker. And this is going to be interesting in terms of trying to get, I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me better? This is going to be interesting in terms of like trying to get a nice, even gradient in the sky. So I started off with the blue and worked my way down. And then I got a little bit of the white and worked my way up. And I can see a tinge of, it's either orange or pink, but I like the idea of having like a little bit of pink there. So gonna get a bit of red, wash off my brush. It's so hot everywhere, honestly. I still haven't got a fan. I guess I didn't think the heat would last this long. But I'm definitely feeling it now. So I just made a little pink and I'm blending up. What I'm doing on the side, when you see my hand going to the side, is just dabbing off the excess water. And ta-da, there's our gradient. And we could kind of continue it a little bit into the water because it will be reflected in the water. There we go. How's everyone's week going? It was 40 degrees today here in the UK, which is unreal. For the first time ever, they've had to issue like a heat warning, which obviously no one was used to. So they actually advised us to stay indoors and not use public transport because there were like a lot of cancellations and everything as well. So I stayed indoors, although I would love to go to the coast. Don't know if I'd swim. I haven't been swimming in a while, but it's always nice and breezy and you can cool off. So I'm very jealous, Helen. I was meant to go on holiday, or I was contemplating going on holiday, but everything was so expensive that I've decided to just rest at home. Because quite often I don't get enough rest anyway. So just trying to make the most of this time. So I've reflected, so I added a little bit more red towards the horizon to make it a bit more concentrated. And I'm still working in fairly light washes, just trying to like lay down colors and figure out where I'm going to put everything. This is the turquoise that I'm laying down now. And for the most part, when I do water, I like to have like lots of different blues and lots of different hues. 34, honestly, here's unreal. I've left my windows open. I don't think it's actually made a difference. Something dropped, but I can't complain too tough because, to be fair, I prefer being hot over being cold. So this is a nice, unusual surprise. Just making it darker as we're getting towards me. And do you prefer time lapses or real time videos? Because a lot of the time when I'm doing paintings for my videos, I actually have real time videos, but I don't share them because I always felt like, oh, of course, people are busy and don't want to watch me paint. But reflecting on that, I realized that I like watching time lapses as well as real time videos, and I find both of them helpful. And when I asked people on Kofi, they actually said they wanted some real time videos. So I've started putting real time videos there. But I'm curious. Real time. Hey, Tony, welcome. Herne Bay. Where's Herne Bay? Honestly, I don't mind. I'll like Google and see because I would love to just relax somewhere. And there are beautiful places in the UK, no doubt. It's just everyone's heading to the coast, so everything's a little bit expensive. Not even a little bit, everything's very expensive at the moment. Real time. Ah, that's interesting. I can certainly do more real time. I guess technically, well, not technically, all my live streams are real time. But I do real times, not so much so or I do live streams not for necessarily the teaching element, but more so that we can hang out together. I've literally been thinking about this for ages, but I was reserving it as like my treat. So I was like, oh, I can't do it yet. I have like a whole bunch of things that I need to do first. And then once I get those things done, I, deserve or I've won and can actually live stream, which I did. That is interesting. Okay, I'll do more real time as well. Mix it up. Progressively getting thicker. I'm using this massive brush because for as long as possible, I want to try and focus on the big shapes rather than details, which is easier said than done. So at least if I'm using a massive brush, there's only so much detail that I can put. Mm. Yeah. Okay. It's almost all like wet on wet, which is fine. It's interesting. The other thing is like when you can see the camera, you get like a bird's eye view, which helps me correct every so often. You guys may remember, or Miss Ebony will certainly remember, there was a time that I was doing a live stream and I thought it was going so well. And as in, I thought the painting was going so well and I was so happy. And then Miss Ebony pointed out it looked like the house I was painting was on fire. And my goodness, I looked up at the screen and that's literally what it looked like. And I don't know how I'd missed it. I don't know why I didn't look up. But since then, I've been a little bit more mindful of actually like taking the time to look up and make sure that everything is going the way I think it's going. Just making just highlighting the buildings that are there. They're a little bit lighter, even lighter. There we go. Let me. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Ebony. It's so shocking and like humbling because this time last year I had 100 subscribers, which I'm not even gonna lie, I was absolutely shocked by. If you've seen my video about my first year on YouTube, you will see that for the first 2 months, the only people like who were subscribed to me were my immediate blood relatives. Um, and then so month one was 7 subscribers, a month two was 9 subscribers, month three was 13 subscribers, and so on and so forth. So it actually took 13 months before I got to 1,000 subscribers, and now we are over 2,000, and it's just unbelievable. Hey Anstan, thank you so much for joining. How are you? Just trying to get my like values right, if that makes sense. Get my lights light and my darks darks. And added just a little bit of green to that Prussian blue. I love Prussian blue in gouache. It's just such a nice, rich dark blue. And like I said, everything that's organic has like multiple different colors. So I've just added a little bit of green. And I just want to go back and start making everything a bit thicker. Hi, Katarina. Welcome. How are you? I got your message. I replied. I don't know if you saw it. And while we're here, does anyone have any questions about Kofi or know what I'm talking about when I mention it? Thank you so much to everyone who's joined. Like, I can't even tell you how happy I get when I see like a notification that someone's joined. I don't even know what to say. You can't see me, so you can't see how much I'm smiling. But I hope that you can hear how much I'm smiling. Um, I keep I'm keeping the picture there so that if you want to paint along, you can. But I may go back and forth because, hold on, so that you can see how happy I am. Because honestly, I appreciate it so much. And I'm so excited. I have all these ideas about what we can do. And I love that we can actually talk to each other now and that we can share things. And I just think it's going to grow into an absolutely wonderful, even bigger community. So as I mentioned, it's like a Patreon, but it has less fees for the creator. In terms of Patreon has, I think, 12% plus more fees. YouTube has 30% fees for like membership, and then Kofi has 5%. So in comparison, it is a lot less. But it allows me to create a Discord as well, which is where we can talk to each other. And share pictures. Did you just super chat? No way. Is that what you? Wow, thank you so much. I was like, wait, what is that? What does that mean? Thank you. Thank you so much, Katarina. I'm glad you're getting better. I really am. That is more than enough for an espresso. Thank you. And not only that, although I should say I don't drink coffee. I'm like one of the few doctors I know that doesn't. Um, it oops. So what it's going to go towards is building an art space. So actually having a desk outside my bedroom, but also like I said, I have a lot of ideas. One idea that would be nice is to have a working printer. To actually be able to create prints and postcards, to be able to live stream with like higher resolution, which would mean paying for like StreamYard as opposed to using the free version. And slowly, I've started making like changes and upgrades, and I hope you've noticed them. One of them is this Actually, I can't count this. This was a gift from my sister because she's really sweet. No, Katarina is very sweet. Thank you so much, honestly. The printer that I had, I don't really understand, is the Epson, which, as I mentioned, has a really good reputation, and the customer service were excellent. I can't fault that, but the printer just didn't work. Um, And you know when it's like when you don't have something, all of a sudden you just see potential uses for it in everything. So I'm like, oh, if I had a printer, I would do postcards. If I had printers, I would be able to make my cards. If I had a printer, I would be able to print the reference photo so that you guys can see it as I'm painting along, as opposed to bouncing back and forth. If I had a printer, I would, etc., etc., etc. And it goes on. But it's not just a printer, it's just, yeah, just opportunities and freedom and actually being able to interact with you guys and actually being able to feed it back into YouTube, because YouTube ain't cheap and art supplies are not cheap. But the way that Kofi works, and obviously I'll message you as well, Katerina, or if you email me, let me do it. And I will email you back. But the way that kind of Kofi works, like I said, is like a Patreon. So you're able to sign up monthly, but you can sign up when you want, you can cancel when you want. And by signing up, you get access to the monthly challenges that I'm going to be creating, that I've created already. You get access to exclusive videos. You join our Discord, which is where we chat, and I'm on there every day now. Every blessed day. And as the community grows, I will just continue to listen to you guys with regards to what you want, and we will continue to add it likewise, or add it accordingly, rather. I asked in the community tab what rewards you would want, and what was that's kind of what based the rewards that I created. So for the most part, people said that they wanted art challenges and they wanted an art community, and that is what I did. And then also when you join, I've asked, what would you like to see, or what would you like, why did you join? And again, it's because, I want to know exactly I want to know what people want when they join and what value I can bring. And that's kind of been my focus. So I think that especially now it will continue to change and evolve, and that's okay. That's what I'm expecting and that's what I want. Let me show you this, just so that we can see if we are on track-esque. One of the key things that I am mindful of, or I am more aware of, is one, my placement. So not making the horizon right at the top or right in the middle and leaving a third, but I clearly want the water to be the focus. And then where I've placed the boat using the rule of thirds, and then focusing on big shapes, and then worrying about perspective later. Rightly or wrongly, that's kind of been my approach thus far. And now that I think I've got pretty much the right colors, and I'm kind of trying to resist the urge of adding more detail here, can you see in the water, which I'm loving, I am going to work on the background and then come forward. Please ignore the sirens. I live in London. There are so many sirens all the time. It's weird, the kind of things that you just start accepting as normal. So I am switching to my round brush because I want to put more details in the background. taking my white, adding a little bit of yellow ochre, and I'm trying adding a bit of water. And the thing is, just in case anyone is like new to gouache, you can layer it, that's fine, but it's almost like this rule of you get thicker and thicker as you layer it, otherwise you reactivate the layer underneath. So now I'm adding less and less water the more layers I do. And I'm trying to think of big shapes rather than focusing on all the details that are there and getting overwhelmed by that. So in the background, I'm just going to do a bunch of rectangles because the focus isn't there anyway. And because gouache is beautifully opaque, you will see that I'm slowly going over the biro pen outline. And normally I don't do a biro pen outline. I only did it because otherwise I wasn't sure that you'd actually be able to see what I was doing. I'm just going to add a bit more white here. And move this here so that you can see. So just big oblongs and then going back and adding some, making it, I think, slightly warmer. I think it's, so just adding some of the orangey yellow. I don't know if that's the official name. Oh, actually, I think I wanted to do something slightly different there. So let me change it. I think one of the things that I saw in Malta that I loved and that you probably already know I love is like I saw quite a few domes. So I'll probably do a dome here. And the domes quite often just represent, they're just churches, but absolutely stunning. And what I'm going to do now is make here higher because I don't want it to be symmetrical. And I found that like it's a thing that I wasn't aware of, but I keep instinctively making things symmetrical, which I'm trying to stop. Oh, thank you so much, Susan. So nice to see you here. See you virtually. Has anyone got any nice plans for the weekend? No, I say weekend, sorry, because I'm off. I have a few days off, so I have the Friday feeling. Does anyone have any nice plans for the week? There we go. Now, not symmetrical anymore. We have a winner. And let's add different shades here. And I'm gonna add some brown. Just because I still want them to look three-dimensional. Can you hear me, by the way? Or rather, can you hear me clearly? Because I've moved my setup a little bit, which means that my microphone keeps swinging away from me. Let me put this here. There we go. Wow, that's amazing, Miss Ebony. I had no idea, one, that your children are old enough to be married. Congratulations. Must be a very busy time, but exciting, but busy and tiring. I went to I was in Malta for a wedding, so the joys and stresses of it all feel rather fresh. But honestly, congratulations. I'm happy for your family. And I take it that you're better. I think something was going around because quite a few people were sick. Oh, good. Thank you, Katerina. I'm glad that you're feeling better. Good. Can you see me trying to fight the urge to put more details in the background? I'll leave that to dry for a second, she says, as she adds a little bit more. Okay. Oops. Now I want to see. Ooh, hey, now you can see me as well. Just trying to look at the color of the boat. Do I want to make it that color even? Miss Ebony, you're going to feel like a new woman on Saturday. My sister was in the bridal party for the wedding that we were recently in, and oh my gosh, I don't think I fully appreciated before how like actually exhausting weddings are. Because before I was almost like more of a spectator, you know. Um, Let me do the boat. Trying to think of what color. I don't want to make it. Let me start off with the white and then see. It's not white though. Hold on. Wow. Jackson's is actually doing a sale at the moment. When aren't they? They are doing a pastel sale. I know this because I browse a lot. Although I have resisted. I think that the only thing I won't be able to resist is if they do like a really good gouache sale. But I think apart from that, for now, I am somewhat set. And even gouache, to be fair, I have a lot. I have a lot of gouache. But I was curious about trying out M. Graham's gouache as well. And then the Sheen Han gouache. So that's probably why I could be swayed to buy. You're waiting for a tutorial. Do you mean by who? By me? you, I have some Happy Mail. I have a lot of Happy Mail to open. So I'm going to record those videos and post them soon. And then I also have I have 2 videos that I'm editing at the moment. Do you want spoilers? I've created a spoilers tab on Kofi specifically for this because I get like super excited. So then I almost feel like I should tell oh, you're waiting on me. Oh, the Neocolor 2s. There's tutorials coming soon. I have so many videos and so many ideas. Like I was speaking to my mom about it, and because I was just like, I have so many ideas just bursting. And she was like, oh, well, how many ideas? And then randomly, like while they're on the phone, I wrote out like 50 fresh video ideas that I could do, wanted to do, or had started doing. The limiting factor is time and I guess energy to a certain extent. But yes, tutorials coming up. Not spoilers, welcome. See, that's the thing because I created a tab because I'm like, oh, should I? In terms, because I'm working on, Happy Mail wise, I have Happy Mail from 3 companies and 1 amazing subscriber that I have to show you very soon. And then, not liking this color that I'm making this boat. And then I'm trying to like give spoilers, but not give like massive spoilers in case there's someone who's watching who's like, no, I hate spoilers. Because normally I don't like spoilers. As in, like, I don't like knowing spoilers, but I clearly can't help myself. It's like when you buy someone a gift and then you want to like tell them straight away because you're so excited about it. That's what I feel like when I'm making videos. Oh yeah, the other one is, so I haven't done a haul in a while. Because I was kind of like doing a no buy. Well, my intention was, I'll give you a bit of a spoiler. My intention was to do a no buy for, let me show my face. Okay. Hello again. My intention was to do a no buy for a month, right? Because yeah, I was spending a lot. And like I was saying, or I think I've mentioned in a past haul video, spending isn't my natural countenance. As in, like, I like saving. I like the security of saving. So I yeah, so but obviously there's just something about like art supplies that's pretty much the only difference. Let me show you this again. Can we? Yeah, so when it comes to art supplies, it's pretty much been the only thing where I honestly love buying art supplies, and where I kind of gave myself the grace to finally spend money and obviously not hold back. But it still kind of felt like going against my natural instincts. But it made me happy, so I did it anyway. But then I just kind of thought, okay, it'd be good to take a break and not spend for a little while and reflect on that experience, which I did. And I'll probably do like a whole separate video about it. Just in terms of like the lessons that I learned, because I did it I don't know, for YouTube time. I don't think you guys would have noticed a difference, but for me it was 4 months in the end, despite initially wanting to just do it for one, because I was like, oh, let me just see how long it goes. I'm not good at doing like, I could only do a no buy with like a slow period of time. But as for low buy, maybe I can do that in the see my camera. It's doing something funny. I may need to hurry. Last time it did this, it then just randomly cut out. But yeah, so my plan was to do a no buy for a short period of time, because I knew that if I said I would do a no buy for a year or whatever, I would just fail and be miserable and just not try at all. So I set myself a 1 month no buy to, one, use the supplies that I have, to reflect on how I went from not spending any money to spending so much money. And obviously it was because I enjoyed it, but also I found out that like art supplies make me happy, and like naturally, when you want that little bit of an endorphin hit, I'd be like, oh, new art supply. so that so that was why. So now I'm like, okay, trying to also derive happiness from using the art supplies as well as buying it. And I took quite a few, like I got a few tips to help with that. But I'm saying all this to say that I went to a shop which I really wanted to buy from, but I didn't buy anything in the shop because I was doing this no buy. And to be honest, I have a lot of supplies already. So do you want to know what the art store is? Because I almost finished editing the video. I just need to do the voiceover, which quite often is a stream of consciousness. Oops. I'm not sure I like the colors that I'm making this boat. In fact, I'm quite sure I don't like the color. Am I? Maybe that's a bit too strong. It's just that it looks like it's capsized and there's water in the boat. So I'm going to change that. Has anyone tried a no-buy? Oh, what is a no-buy? Hey, Debbie. Welcome. So a no-buy is basically deciding not to buy anything for a set period of time. So some people will do it. You can do it in any kind of category, but it seems to be quite popular in the art community at the moment. So you decide that you're not going to buy any art supplies for X amount of time for whatever reason. So for a month, I said that no matter the sales, and that was hard, no matter the sales that come, no matter what shops I walk into, no matter what, I will not buy any art supplies for this month. Um, and then like I tried to keep it going for as long as I could in the end, and I ended up getting to 4 months. And now that it's kind of like once it ended, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to probably do like a low buy, and rather than saying I can't buy anything no matter what, which would just make me miserable, I'm going to say that I will buy to replace things or set like caveats to the like low buy, or create a wish list so that if I'm buying anything, it's because I'm being like intentional and thinking about it, as opposed to sporadically spending money I don't have. Miss Ebony. No, honestly, it's so hard, and I think there's a reason why like the no buy is getting popular in the art community, because if you think about it, like there's so much, I see so much potential in all art supplies. Like I'll literally look at a sketchbook and be like, wow, it's going to be completely different to another sketchbook. It's yeah, I just see a lot of untapped potential. It makes me happy to look at, it makes me happy to buy. And then obviously I deal with using it or not using it depending on like my skill level, or how expensive it is, or whatever. I know it's not just an art community thing, but I can definitely see art supplies are addictive. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so I mean, it was an interesting experience, and I think of late also because I have like one of the things that I did was take stock of what I have. And now I've put like things almost like Marie Kondo. I've put things like out so I can see my art supplies more. One, to encourage me to use them more and to use like different things, but two, also it's like made me very aware of what I have. And I guess I'm just going back to what I know, which is spending less money and trying to save and all that stuff, all that good stuff. And just adding some details. I decided I didn't like the blue in the boat, so I've made it purple, probably because the rest of the boat is yellow and they are complementary colors, which means hopefully that this is a wise color decision. Obviously time will tell. Yeah, but no buys are hard. And I think, I mean, I think that they can be done however you want them to be done. Do you know what I mean? Like I think you can make up whichever rules are best for you. You can set aims that again are best for you. And if you end up buying something, that's fine. There's no point in beating yourself up. Or at least I didn't beat myself up. It was just kind of a question of being more mindful. Why till October, Colleen? Specifically. No, honestly, again, the Karen Dash, I've seen their pan gouache sets for ages, but I think the same way that I like, oh, need to add water. The same way that I like pans for watercolors, I think I just like fresh gouache for like liquid for wash, if that makes sense. Just spraying some water. Oh, till your birthday. No, that makes sense. Exactly. See, I think that's the thing, being intentional with it. And then you got what you needed, and then you can kind of reassess on why you want it and if not. And again, I think, I'm not gonna lie, like if I was in a bad mood, stressful day at work, or anything like that, instinctively I would want to go and buy art supplies. Like it would just be like, I know what's going to make me feel better. It's either painting or buying art supplies. But sometimes, when you're tired and whatever, it just feels like, oh, I don't have time or energy to paint. Let me buy art supplies. So it was really hard, like during that period, to be like, oh, okay, well, I can't buy art supplies. So what am I going to do instead, what positive outlet am I going to find instead of this instant source of joy? And like I said, I tried a whole bunch of different things, and I am more than happy to share them in due course. But yeah, with regards to, I think we got to this because I was talking about spoilers, and the video that I'm editing is basically a shop that I went into and didn't buy anything because I was on the no buy, which was very hard not to buy anything. But one, I was wondering, did you want to know which store? Or I think, even if I don't tell you, so yeah, maybe it's just better for me to post it. I'm trying to like not give away too much. But I think what I'll do is just to kind of satisfy this clearly urge that I have to always tell you guys what I'm doing. I'm going to start posting them in the Kofi spoiler tab, so that I feel like at least I've told someone my secret. And if you want to go and you want to know what's coming up, you can do that. And if you want to make suggestions, like about, if I haven't finished editing the video and you want to suggest something that I can do that you think would make it better, you can do that there. Colleen, I love that you bought yourself your anniversary gift on behalf of your husband. I think that's a win-win. That way you get something that you definitely want, and he's guilt-free. I think, Katerina, honestly, if you've saved for a period of time to get the furniture, you've saved to get the printer, you worked hard, I honestly think buying yourself some art supplies is the least that you could do. Like, really and truly, don't feel bad. Enjoy your art supplies. They are worth it. Full set syndrome. I thankfully, do I have full set? I don't have full set syndrome. I have new set syndrome. I believe they are cousins. Thank you, Katarina. Oh, thank you, Linda. Welcome. Colleen, what art supplies did you then get? Or what art supplies did your husband get you? Whoops. Sorry about that. When does it become a problem? Art Anonymous. Welcome, D. Welcome. This is Art Anonymous. My name is Amaka, and I am addicted to art supplies. When does it become a problem? I don't know. I would say when you start feeling guilty about it, but I don't even feel like that's true because I was definitely feeling guilty about it long before it was a problem. I started feeling guilty about it like pretty much straight away. First full video I did, I was feeling guilty. If if it wasn't for the fact that it was so popular that gave me the kind of, I guess, encouragement that like, okay, people actually enjoy this. I probably wouldn't have done another one. Like I would have bought art supplies, but I probably wouldn't have like put it online. Because I almost felt like if sometimes I don't know, it feels like I'm showing off, which is not what I'm trying to do at all. Um, so I am probably not the best person to answer when is it a problem because pretty sure I passed it. But yeah, full set. No, I think for me it's definitely new set. Like I want to try all the watercolors, all the gouaches, all the, and I think it's more so since I've got this channel now, it almost feels like, how can I how can I say which is my favorite and which is the best if I haven't tried others, especially when it's an opinion that I'm then going to share on the internet that's going to be there forever. I have to do my research. I feel like I have to be diligent. And Katerina, most definitely treat yourself. It's the least that you deserve. I didn't know that Mungyo did pastels. I I've seen their watercolors. Oh, Strath watered papers, tan, blue, and grey, new brushes, gouache palette, and some Hangula paper. Your husband's very generous. Hi, Suzanne. Welcome. Whoops. Keep hitting the table. Oh, okay, good. Thank you. Sorry about that. My phone started dying, and unfortunately, my phone is what is accounting for the Wi-Fi, as well as my second camera. So if it died, it would have just been all over. So now it's charging. And hopefully I have bought us rather, some more time together. And let me know if there's an echo, because as part of that, I had to disconnect the. Anyway, you don't need to know all the logistics, but yeah, if there's an echo, let me know. I'll try and fix it. Next sale. I think the other thing that I've kind of, the other technique that I've used to help me with the no buy was telling myself that I'm saving for the Jackson's Black Friday sale. So I'm like, oh, it's okay. I can wait until November because then I can really buy anything I want. I mean, within reason, right? Anything I want guilt free. So, Miss Ebony, you may be doing the same thing as well. I wish Jackson's would like let us know what sales they're doing so that we can plan accordingly. Hi, Jeanette. I haven't tried a gallo yet, but I am tempted. I mean, they look so beautiful. Um, Even if you just consider their packaging alone, I don't know any other brand that pays that much attention. I feel like Paul Rubens come close when it comes to like their packaging or thinking about their packaging, but again, nothing compared to a Gallo. Absolutely stunning. And the colors as well look beautiful. But like I said, trying to cut down. So happy to live vicariously. We may, D is true, we may all have a problem, but of all issues, I would rather have, like, if I had to pick one, it would be this. The love of art supplies. I do find actually, I do feel like I have quite an addictive personality. It's why I like never tried drugs, never tried smoking or anything like that, because I was like, if I like it, what will I do? You know, I'd create a problem for myself that I know I wouldn't be able to get out of. And these were the thoughts of a. Do I want that there? No, this doesn't really make sense here. It's funny you should mention the tutorial, Miss Ebony, because my sister said the same thing about like gouache. And to be fair, I do have gouache tutorials. I do have a playlist on them as well, but by no means as many as I could or should have, because I just keep, like, I record most of the time that I paint, not all the time, but a lot of the time. But then I just don't edit or post it. So she was also like saying that to me, like she's waiting for me to do my tutorials. Don't think I like what I'm doing. Let's make it pink again. Uh-oh. Yeah, it was spam. Sorry. So sad to have to have. I don't know if this means. I hate bots. As if this isn't hard enough. Painting, talking, reading, and typing, and now I have to like look out for bots and make sure that no one's like talking rubbish. Mm, yeah, no, that's the thing, right? They look so beautiful, but they are not cheap. I was thinking about it in March, like, because I remember they were having a release on the 27th of March, and I really, really contemplated it. But upon looking at my bank account, it was clear that the answer was no. But I'm thinking about it. Maybe, like I said, maybe Black Friday. I think that is accurate. I honestly think that is the kind of thing I would do. Yeah, honestly, if they could just like give us a schedule, because the thing is, I'm not buying because like I can't explain it. Like I would still buy. I don't understand what they get by not telling us ahead of time what sales are coming. If I knew a gouache sale was coming, I'd be able to plan accordingly, you know, and be like, okay, the gouache sale's coming, save. Or, you know, this sale is coming, save. But it's always a surprise. Like every Friday, I'm like, oh, what's it gonna be today? Am I tempted? Am I not? I've just got some pink and white on my brush, and I'm just doing some waves and mixing, trying to mix the two so it's not such a smooth gradient. I'm trying to have my brush somewhat on the drier side so that I have some texture, which I will also need to add here. And just as a reminder, I'm using the Winsor & Newton gouache, and I'm using the Paul Rubens hot press watercolor block. Do we have another troll? No, it's gone, right? Oh, I just missed a lot of the chat. Okay, I don't see it anymore. Good. Yeah, no, I blocked it. I haven't tried that brand, Suzanne. Oh, thank you so much, Ike. What's looking at you, Suzanne? What's looking at you? Oh, thank you so much, Colleen. I must say, it feels nice, but also interesting doing live streams, because obviously I have no idea what this is going to turn out like when I start off. So I'm like, oh man, another one. Hold on. Gone again. So yeah, I have no idea how it's going to turn out when I start. Obviously, I'm trying to be a bit more mindful, hence why I did this thumbnail here. But that ends the extent of the pre-planning. Oh my gosh, and another one. What is going on? Yeah, the Artistra ones look really pretty. I haven't used them purely because I don't know like about their quality. I haven't seen any reviews on them. And although I tried their what's it called? Pens, their acrylic pens, and they were really nice. The paints that I started with initially were called major brushes, and they were dreadful. Gosh, I honestly hated it. And I think that's what made me a bit weary of buying supplies that I didn't like recognize their name, or that I didn't see used very much. Like not necessarily in reviews, but just used. You know, like when you're watching someone's tutorial, what art supplies are they reaching for all the time? Those were the supplies that I then started getting, and I could see like, okay, Winsor & Newton keeps getting mentioned as a staple, not necessarily reviewed or whatever. And that's why I like ended up going. Actually, I ended up getting the Van Gogh set first after that, and I really enjoyed it. And then from there, I wanted to get a bigger set, and that's when I got the Winsor & Newton because it was getting mentioned. It was getting used quite a lot, and because. So when I looked on Amazon for the very first set that I got, when I looked on Amazon, it had over 1,000 reviews and it was rated 4 stars. I honestly don't know how. I don't know if it was bots. I can't explain that phenomenon. But what I knew after that is that I couldn't really trust Amazon for their reviews when it came to paints. So I was like, I'm gonna have to turn to YouTube moving forward to when it comes to like reviewing paints, and that's what's going to determine what supplies I buy. Yeah, I have their paint pens too. Hey, Hugo. Thank you for joining. Like I said, I think the thing with the Artistra watercolors, again, I haven't used them. I don't know. I don't know about like their pigment information. I don't know about their light fastness. I don't know how they work. My fear is I'm never going back to chalky watercolors again. Not to say that they are, just to say that I don't know if they are. And if I think they are £20 in the UK, they were 20, and I think now they're like 25 or £30. And for that, I could get a less pretty palette that I would kind of be able to use. But gift factor wise, yeah, it looks beautiful. No one's gonna fault you for it. But yeah, maybe after this, I'll watch a few reviews because I'm kind of curious. Yeah, I have their pens as well. And yeah, I love the Van Gogh set. It's the reason I kept painting. after after I tried that brand that literally made me feel like I had no skill, no talent, and no future in art. Oh yeah, Daniel Smith, they're pretty good. They're very good, in fact. Your teacher was not messing around. I keep reaching for them actually. I put them if you've watched my like I think it's in my how to travel with paints video for when I was traveling to Venice. But in that video where I like create my palette, just trying to get rid of some of this paint, um, I ended up putting my Daniel Smith with my Cotman. And it was almost like a pointless exercise because automatically every time I have that palette, I keep using the Daniel Smith. And I'll carry the palette around with me because I'm like, oh yeah, great, that's where my Cotmans are. But then when I'm painting, I'm like, oh, and a little bit of Daniel Smith and a little bit more of Daniel Smith and a little bit. And before I know it, it's all I've used. So now I've separated it so that at least if I'm carrying the palette around because it has Cotman, I'm actually going to use the Cotman. And if I'm going to use the Daniel Smith, I'm going to be a bit more intentional with it. Because then I realized like I was using Daniel Smith on scraps of paper just because I enjoy using it and I wanted to use it instead of the Cotman. I have not tried Le Pen. My go-to at the moment in terms of fine liners is Unipen. That being said, I still have my microns. I still have Faber Castells, which I use from time to time. But when I buy, most of the time I'm buying Unipins. I've tried the Winsor and Newton fine liners as well. I didn't even know they did fine liners, and I quite like that as well. But I'm really not picky when it comes to fine liners. I just need it to feel nice on the paper, to last a long time, and to be waterproof. That's it. If you can do that and you can be cheap, I'm happy. I also love biros, but biros feel different. You know, it's like it's a different look, it's a different feel, it's a different cover. Um, but I feel like I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to supplies. Hey JRM, is it Junior M or JRM? I always wonder when I see your comments. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. You started off you started off with pretty much the best. And then it's hard. I think that would be one thing. It would be hard to like start off with Daniel Smith and then like go to student grades or any other paints, even though they can be good for, as in like these other paints can be good for their price point. They're just not the same. JR, understood. JRM, hey. No, I didn't know. I don't know why I thought junior. And also, random point, if I ever have kids, I'd want to name, I'd want to give my daughter my name. I just really like my name. But also, thank you for confirming, because sometimes, like in the comments, I have no idea, and obviously, I'm try to make things, try to imagine who you guys are and stuff. But it's nice to actually know. Honestly, I think in one of my vlogs that I went when I went to Casa, I went in for gouache. Like I went in for acrylic gouache, and I ended up spending like £60. Did not get the acrylic gouache because it wasn't even there. But yeah, does anyone watching have any questions about Kofi or want to join? Because obviously, I would love for you guys to all join on there. And my plan is to start doing Zooms on there as well, on Discord. So it's like a Patreon, only with less fees. But on there, I've been doing monthly challenges. Am I in a bigger place? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, moving has been such a stressful experience, which I will share soon. Will I? I'll share some of it. I'll share on most of it with the Kofi. But you know, the thing with YouTube, as great as it is that I don't want everything on the internet forever. And there'll be, an array of people watching. Almost everyone is incredibly nice, but not everyone is. So I've just been a little bit more mindful about what I share online. But yeah, so monthly challenges, Zoom calls, chats together on Discord, and other rewards. I just need you guys to let me know what you want. But definitely consider joining, as it makes a massive difference to the channel. And beyond that, I want to hang out with you. Do it for me. Hang out with me. Just in general, hang out with us, isn't it? And obviously, thank you so much to everyone who has already. If you guys knew my family members, you'd know that they can confirm that every time that someone joins, I call and I let them know. In fact, I feel like I give them almost like a daily report. And not only that, it took me months to work up the nerve to actually to start it. And is it perfect? No, but I do believe that it can only get better. Yeah, of course. I would love to do events in person. Like I said, I have so many ideas. It's just a question of building up, gradually building up. Step one is virtual, especially I think because a lot of a lot of us are from all over the world. If you feel like sharing whereabouts you're watching from, please feel free. Obviously, I'm in the UK, London esque. Oh, thank you so much for joining, Janine. How do I find out? Yeah, that's the link there, Janine. Thank you so much for asking. Look at me talking about it and not even actually saying how you can join. But yeah, the way that it works is first you go on there and then you say that you want to follow. You can join the membership. So there's two things. You can join the membership, which will allow you to kind of get access to the exclusive content, including the art challenges and other things that I've created. Sorry, so this month, for example, I also released pictures that I took while in Venice as like a free reward for everyone on Kofi. But then if you don't want to join monthly and you want to just give a single donation, then you can do that as well. And as I said, everything makes a massive difference. I don't drink coffee, so that's not where it's going to. It's just going to actually improving the channel and giving me, I guess, the time to continue to grow and give you guys what you would like, what you enjoy. So thank you for everyone who has already. But yeah, I want to do more of this. And hopefully, if I do it via Discord and off StreamYard, I won't have to deal with the stresses of all these technical issues that I am fighting off in the background. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm putting shadows. I don't know again why. I know I started off saying what I was doing and saying that I wanted to be mindful of what I'm doing and why, and then I get distracted and I just start doing everything instinctively. Oxford, Mississippi, Toronto, Canada, Atlanta, Georgia. A's up, A Town down. Usher, anyone? Thank you so much, Helen. Croatia, Long Beach, New York, Canterbury, Kent. You see, we're from all over. And like I said, I would love to one day do face to face events. But in the meantime, we can meet virtually on Kofi. I think I need to give some love to this boat and be quick about it. Let's see. What type of person are you? Do you use multiple brushes or one brush? Because you can see me clearly trying to do what I should do with a small brush using a big brush. Yeah. Too much water. What have I missed? Oh, bye, Suzanne. Thank you for joining. Yeah, most definitely. I'm a night owl. Technology is trying to kill me. It's literally like everything is, I've already spoken about no Wi-Fi, so I'm using my phone. The battery on my phone was dying, so I had to unplug the headphones and use wireless headphones, which are also slowly dying, which means that soon there will be an echo that unfortunately I will not be able to get rid of. So if it gets too annoying, I'll just have to end the stream there. Or we'll see, depends on how stubborn I'm feeling, I guess. But now as a result, every few seconds there's a beep to let me know It's dying. It's dying. Oh, Sweden. Yeah, love using my brush. Oh, sorry, Katerina. I always aim to come earlier. I know I keep saying I'm going to be earlier, I'm going to be earlier, I'm going to be earlier, and then I just life gets in the way. There's drilling, there's blah blah blah, and it gets later. But I'm off for the next few days, so I definitely want to go live again. So be on the lookout for that, and I will try and make that actually in the day because I should stop being such a night owl. There must be, and I'm sure there is like a more reasonable time that's acceptable for all parties involved, both those in US, in the Canada, in Sweden, and in the UK. Yeah, that's the thing. I also love using one brush. But then that being said, there's a painting that I did that I'm going to share. And in that painting, I actually switched to a smaller brush and it made my life so much easier. And I was like, oh, this is why. This is why people actually switch. This thing that I've like been completely fighting for years. 1 hour ahead. What time is it now? Oh my gosh, it's 1 a.m. there. It's midnight. What is actually wrong with me? I'm so sorry. Any ideas or suggestions on what we should do on our next live stream, which will be at some point this week, God willing? Last time we did these, we did florals. Then I asked on Kofi, and I was told landscapes-esque. Well, I was told landscapes. I took this to be a landscape. In hindsight, I'm not actually sure it counts, but open to suggestions as always. A self-portrait. That is one tall task, Patricia. On a live stream. Potentially, the thing is, I've been wanting to try a live stream, a self-portrait. Sorry, I haven't thought about doing it live, if I'm honest, and I think that's just because I think it would take a lot of concentration to do, and I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. That it would be nice for you guys to watch me paint without talking. Or maybe it would be like, I know I for some reason I started watching this channel that I really enjoyed. I've forgotten the name, but it's someone who does like book binding, and they don't speak. They just bind books in silence. And I didn't understand why YouTube recommended it to me. And yeah, I was just like, I've watched maybe 3 videos of them just binding books in total and utter silence, and you can just, I guess, I mean, it does have some elements of ASMR as well, but super relaxing. But I like talking to you guys, so I don't know how engaged I would be if I have to be that, if I have to concentrate that much. But if you don't mind me not talking, see, I would love to make books. That's probably why YouTube recommended it to me, because I used to like watch I mean, tutorials on how to bookbind and everything. But then I wouldn't actually bind the books. So yeah, I know that they're relaxing. The small wash palette, I will link it down below. It's on Jackson's, and if you look back on my videos, you will see it as well. I don't remember, like you have to put something quite specific to get it on Jackson's, which is why um, I will link it. Or if you look at my video called, I think, the best wash palette, you'll see me holding this palette with a huge smile on my face. The link is there as well because it's not called a palette, oddly enough. So then I don't know if the description is wrong or if I was using it wrong or I don't know what it is, but for some reason it's not called what you think it'd be called. But I love it, although it's like I think it's meant to be like a plein air outdoor palette kind of thing. But I love it for the studio as well because having this gouache just laid out in front of me has resulted in me using gouache a lot more because I didn't realize it, but having to go get the tubes, open them up, try and figure out how much gouache I'm going to use for this one painting, to then try and store this palette paper because I don't want to waste the gouache that I've got on there, was an inhibiting factor. It was stopping me from actually taking the time to paint because I didn't want to do it and I didn't want to waste it. And now I can paint freely. So as a result, I've done a lot more painting. Who would have thought? So I highly recommend. Good night, Katerina. Thank you again so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's also available on AliExpress. I think it depends on where you live. You can either get it from Amazon, from Jackson's, or from AliExpress. Whichever one has the least fees and is most accessible for you, that's where I recommend that you get it. I ended up getting it from Jackson's because it wasn't available in the UK on Amazon at the time, but now it is. But again, the name on there doesn't make sense. Hey, Willow. Welcome. Thank you so much. How are you? I was messaging in Discord for us to do a live stream at some point. Thank you. And let them dry. It takes so long to mix. Yeah, no, I absolutely love this. Not only that, to be fair, I recently went to Malta, and when I went, because I was carrying so much, I let it dry out a bit so that if need be, I could carry it not as like a liquid, like outside my liquid allowance. So I let it almost completely dry out. But then again, I think because I'm using Winsor and Newton gouache, it was so easy to just re-wet. So I took 5 minutes to re-wet it before this live stream. And it's working like a dream. But yeah, I love the fact that it stays wet. I love the fact that all the paint is laid out. And anything that helps me paint more and enjoy the supplies is worth it. Oh, good luck on your exams, Willow. Okay, so we have sufficient, almost sufficient detail in the back. Just need to add, don't want anything to catch undue attention. And now we can just finish. I'm using the Winsor & Newton designer gouache, the introductory set. And in the video about the best gouache palette, which is about this palette that comes empty, I talk about the colors that I put in and the order and why I put it in that order, just in case that's the kind of thing that you would also find helpful. And just more about putting it together. Whoops. Let's make this a little bit darker. Just want to add some finishing touches to the boat. And then I think we're pretty much almost there. With everything going on, it's been such a long time, or what feels like a very long time, since I've painted with gouache. But it's always so enjoyable. Oh, thank you. My move is still going. It's it's still very much going. It's a lot. I hate moving. So this was kind of like my treat for, I guess, doing it. It's like, oh, you're treating yourself because you need a treat, as opposed to like any action that you've actually may or may not have done to deserve said treat. It was just more like, I need a treat. I need something to look forward to. And that was chatting with you guys. How much water do you use? That's a very good question, Janine. So it depends on what I'm doing and where I'm painting. So the first few layers that I do, so I'm just looking for a brush. The first few layers that I do, I use like a very thin layer of gouache, almost like watercolor. So it's like really watered down. And if you look back on the start of the video, got paint everywhere. If you look back on the start of the video, you'll see that I did that. And that's just because I want to like get the rough colors down and the values down, and do it because of that. And then the subsequent layers, so any layer that I do on top of that, is a bit thicker, and then a bit thicker, and then a bit thicker. So adding less and less water each time until I get to like the very top, where it's pretty much just paint and almost very nearly no water. Let me see. I want to try and add a fine detail, but I don't actually have a brush for gouache for this. And if that doesn't work, I will just end up using a watercolor brush. But I don't want to, watercolor brushes quite often I find are quite delicate. So I don't want to use a watercolor brush if I don't have to. So I'm just using a water brush as a normal brush. Bootleg. Thank you. I'm so glad. You guys should definitely join in and paint. No, no problem at all, Janine. But yeah, so then each layer just gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And then eventually, like now, I'm literally just dipping in water and going straight into the paint. So there's hardly any water. And that's because I'm right at the top. And the reason that I do it that way, I don't know if you've like painted with oils before. I haven't, but I've been told it's a similar concept. Um, where you like go lean over fat, but basically gouache gets reactivated with water. So if you do like a really thick layer first and then you try to add thin watered down layers of paint, you will just end up reactivating the layer underneath and mixing it together, which would just be very frustrating. So it takes some getting used to, and different amounts, different washes will require different water, different like consistencies, but that's the general rule and the general way that I go about it, and it has worked thus far. Um, I didn't realize that I was spontaneous, but actually I am. I just also don't seem to be that self-aware. So, although to be fair, I told the people on Kofi that I was going to go live today because I thought about it this afternoon. Well, I've thought about it for a while, but I was very busy. But this afternoon, I told myself, okay, I was going to go live. So I did, I did kind of give them a heads up. My intention was to actually go live in the afternoon, and then life got in the way. So it ended up being 10 p.m. at night. Yeah, okay, then that makes sense. Thank you. Thank you, Helen. Yeah, exactly. I've seen someone mention it that way as well, like water, cream, coffee, tea, something like that. Um, and I think that makes sense. I don't really drink any of it, so it took me a while to understand, but it does. And yeah, the water control is something that I'm still like getting more and more familiar with. And I think that's why I also have like this here, which now is completely drenched in water. But yeah, I have like a napkin next to me, and you'll have seen that I was doing like brush strokes on the paper. And that's just so that I can get it to the right consistency, and I can get, as in, I can get the brush correctly wet, if that makes sense. So quite often I find I tend to add too much water, and then I realize I've added too much water, so then I dab off the excess on the paper towel before picking up the paint. So there are little hacks, but with practice it's definitely doable. Just adding finer details. It's working using this tiny brush. Not perfect, but it works. Note to self, buy smaller brushes. Oh, good night, Patricia. Thank you so much for joining, all the way from Sweden, no less. Thank you. Um, Not only perspective but like composition, which initially I honestly thought just meant where you put things, like the place that you put things. But then the more I started reading and looking into it, the more like, they mentioned other things like contrast was a big thing, in terms of contrast, not only in colors but also in values, in detail. And it just had me thinking, I don't really pay much mind to contrast or where I want the focus to be. So thank you for noticing. Yeah, I know it's a lot. And like obviously I'm self-taught. I didn't go to school, I didn't study. I'm the type, how there's the type of person who like gets an IKEA and IKEA piece of furniture and reads the instructions, and then there's the type of person who like just starts putting different pieces together. I'm the person who puts things different things together. So when it came to like painting and yeah, I just dove right in. Oops. Yeah, just dove right in with basically zero consideration or thought as to like the basics or classes or anything like that. I just paint what I want to paint, um, which I like, and I think I will still keep doing. But I also want to see like, oh, you don't know what you don't know. So I was like, oh, let me learn a little bit about all these things that people learn years learning. And also thinking like, if I see a painting that I like why do I like it? Um, and just being a bit more mindful. And one of the things that I wanted to focus on were color and composition. Like, and without giving too much away, it's also what's been influencing what I'm going to do for the Kofi challenges as well. So that as I'm learning, are those who also follow on Kofi and who are part of it and want to do so can learn along with me. I'm just looking at the screen as well to see where I want to add more detail. I think I like this small brush for detail. Oopsie. What's everyone doing at this wonderful time, whether it be midnight, like here, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., or the afternoon? Us West, West Coast friends. Making sure that's nice and dry. Changing my mind about adding the white and covering it up with blue. Got to love gouache. Yeah, no, it's more that like my watercolor brushes are quite soft and delicate, and I like my gouache brushes to be firmer. So it's not, I don't think they'll damage it in terms of like, oil or acrylic, but more so one, I don't like, yeah, I like them a bit firmer. But also I feel like I can use any cheap brush with gouache. I just need the bristles to not come out because I absolutely hate when that happens. But apart from that, I'm not too particular. 6:30 p.m. Oh, what to have for dinner? Getting my grocery shopping tomorrow. Honestly, can't wait. You know when you're like the day before grocery shopping, so you're just, or I personally leave it one to the last minute. So the day beforehand, it's always not necessarily food I want. I think we're done. Oh, thank you, Miss Ebony. Hello, repeat defender. 4:30. Whereabouts? Oh, Southern Cali. California. In California. Thank you. Let me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Whew. Gouache painting. I enjoy it so much, but one, I find it more challenging. Well, actually, do I? It takes more concentration for me. Well, actually, it's not the gouache. It's more the doing anything other than florals. If it's florals, oh no, I've got paint everywhere. If it's florals, I can do it. But anything other than florals takes concentration, but still equally fun. And I am so glad. I'm so glad that you guys joined. Thank you so, so much. Yeah, no, it's too hot. Like, I'm not sweating, but you can see the glow, right? The glow is because it's scorching hot. Even though it's past midnight, it's probably 1 a.m. now. And the window's open, but still it's too hot, way too hot. And also I'm under studio lights, so I'm guessing that isn't helping. Oh, I'm really glad, Willow. Good luck with your exams, honestly, and your finals. Thank you guys for joining. Let me know if you have any ideas on what we should do I was going to sign it, but actually I'm not going to instead. Let me know if you have any ideas on what we should do on the next live stream. I have a few days off, so I may do another one very soon at a more reasonable time. Thank you to everyone who's watched. Thank you to everyone who supported on Kofi. You guys are all absolutely amazing. And yeah, if you want me to paint something else, let me know. Just adding some splashes with the Posca pen. Can't help myself. Oh, thank you so much for joining Repeat Defender. I hope you enjoyed the stream. They happen very ad hoc, completely dependent on how I'm feeling and what I'm doing that day. But it's always so much fun. Or at least I have a lot of fun, and I hope that you guys do too. And when you join, you'll notice usually the same people plus a few new faces. Good night. Thank you so much. Gonna get. Okay, I'm finished. I promise. Oh, what happens to my paintings? That's a very good point. At the moment, we were discussing this in the live stream last time. At the moment, I just store them. Yeah, I just store them. I don't do much with them for the most part. I've sold a few. If someone like got in touch and was like, "Oh, I really want that painting," then I have no opposition to selling them. Sometimes I turn them into cards as well on my Etsy, and actually forget Etsy, on my Kofi store. I'll probably upload the cards that I've done as well. So it depends on the design. It depends on if it's popular and if it's liked and if people want it. But as I was mentioning, one of the things that Kofi will help me get very soon is hopefully a printer. And once I have a printer, then I can also make prints. And perhaps these will then become card designs. As I mentioned, this is the Paul Rubens hot press watercolor paper. It's really nice to work on. This is the final painting. And it's a painting of a picture from Malta. This is the thing that I also find challenging. And if you're still here, thank you. You're an MVP. You're amazing. Let me know how you get these out. I don't have a letter opener, but is that pretty much the answer? I have to get a letter opener in order to take these out. Because at the moment, I just struggle. And last time, I actually ended up cutting through a piece. Can you imagine? Because I tried to use scissors to separate it. But here we go. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope that you have a lovely evening, afternoon, or I don't think morning, but if you're watching and it's morning, a lovely morning too. A palette knife. Genius idea. I actually literally have a palette knife right there. Thank you so much. I knew there had to be an easier way. Yeah. I was using scissors. I literally like sliced through. Thankfully, it wasn't like I didn't slice through the painting. I sliced through the paper underneath. But I knew there had to be an easier way. For all those wondering, a palette knife is the solution. Use a palette knife to take the paper off the blocks as opposed to scissors, your fingernails, or whatever other random contraption I was looking for. Thank you so, so much. And good night. And anyone who is on Kofi, I am going to be there for the next few hours as well. So instead of going to sleep. Thank you so much and good night.